Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Pablo, and we got Lasha over here. Strikeout Bros, Season 2, Episode 3. Today's episode's name is gonna really, hurt Met fans out there. But it is what it is. I saw it out there. It's all over the place. It's driving me crazy. I'm upset right now, and we'll talk about it. But the name of the episode is Soto regretting his Yankees departure? What's up, Lasha?
What's up, man? Episode 3, man. Seasons we're having going by fast, man. Let's jump in.
Talk to me. I want you to tell me what you think and how do you see this, and then I'll tell you how I feel about what I've been reading out there.
It's
Yeah,
hard to say whether he's regretting the Yankees because when he first went to Yankees, he had a kind of a slow start too. So and he only was there 1 year, so it makes it sound like the headline makes it sound like he was with the Yankees for such a long time, and this is his first time ever leaving them. And what a drastic change it has been. No, it's not the case. Every clubhouse is different. So I think I think he's just off to a slow start. I don't think it has to do with the Yankees. It has thing to do with the weather. It's still kind of cold in New York. Yes, adjusting to his teammates. Yes, that's new. You gotta get adjusted to Lindor. He's more the Lindor is more the clubhouse. Leader, you could say, or more of the vocal guy in the clubhouse. More, you know, whereas for the Yankees, it was more like Stanton that was the vocal leader, even though he didn't play as much. Where Judge and Alonso are similar in the sense that they're more like the quiet reserve kind of. They're not gonna make a lot of noise with their voice. They're just gonna put their head down and put the axe to the grind and let their game do the talking for them. So I think it's just adjustment period. I don't know if I know you just had a couple good games against Minnesota, a couple home runs, which is good. So that's a good sign. But he's just off to a slow start. I don't think it has to do with regrets. I don't know. What do you think?
I think he's starting to look like Javi Baez to me. When Javi Baez was in New York, I really didn't like the way he was moving around and what he was doing to the club, and I felt like he was like a cancer. I like him as a player. When I first heard he was coming over, I was like, wow, this is gonna be great. But nah, it didn't really turn out that way. I didn't like his energy. So I hope that Soto doesn't become that, because it's gonna really bother me. So like what he was saying, this is what I'm reading, like after I read so many articles, and he's saying something along the lines of well, I was seeing different pitches when I was playing over there with Judge, because he was protecting Judge in that sense. So they were scared to, throw the Judge, so they had to go through Soto. And he was getting, a lot of pitches to hit, But now it's the same chess piece, but it's being utilized in a different way. Cause I feel like it's working, in a different way. It's the Mets way of doing things, You see what they do with the pitching, They're like, we're not gonna pay any, high caliber aces out there. We're just gonna, figure it out, and we're gonna look at these guys. These guys have potential, and we're just gonna make them better. And we know exactly what to do to elevate their game, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna succeed doing that. We did it last year; it worked, and we made it really far. And we're gonna try it again this year, and we're gonna use a couple of different pieces, and I think it's gonna work very well. And so far, so good. But back to the Soto business, So now he doesn't understand that it's working, because all right, he was saying that, oh, when I signed with the Mets, I made sure that, we got Pete Alonso because I needed protection, blah, blah, blah. Right. So that's bull, because if that was the case, why didn't we go right into it with Alonso? He was still dangling out there for anybody to pick up. Nobody wanted him because he had a disastrous, 2024 season. And that's why he was out there for that long, because all those first basemen went with the quickness, but nobody knocked on Alonso's door. Why? Because he was horrible. He was horrible. And look at him now. Look at him now. We're gonna talk about those numbers, but it is working. They're scared to pitch to, imagine if Lindor gets on first, whether it's a walk or a hit, a double, because he's hitting the ball very well now. He's getting into it a lot faster than, he's done in the prior seasons. But the problem is Soto doesn't understand that his role in the lineup right now is working. All right, because he's getting on. He's getting on. What did you just say to me earlier when we were on the phone? What did you say to me? That when you walk and you get on base, it's what?
It puts pressure on. It's an opportunity to produce runs
There you
for
go.
your team. You
It's an
know,
opportunity to put up some runs for your team, right? So he's doing that. He's getting on base. He's walking, and that's what it matters. All right. Sometimes he's not hitting home runs like he's used to, because last year around this time it was the other opposite. Judge was not hitting the ball at all, and Soto was kind of like carrying the team at the time until Judge figured it out, like in like May. It took him a while to figure it out. Judge wasn't hitting at all in the beginning, but now he's not hitting, and Alonso's raking. Alonso has some ridiculous numbers that he's putting up right now, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna stop. It seems like he's a completely different ball player now, and I love it. I love it because now we have a lot of tools to play with, to work with. Excuse me. But we'll see what happens. I hope that he wasn't misquoted. Because people are saying that he was misquoted. And he's saying whatever. He was being honest. It's a different ball club. It's a different strategy, and you're a piece. And they're using you in a different way.
yeah, no. Well, listen, we always one thing that we as fans always ask for in any sport is we ask that our players be honest. And you know what? One thing about Soto, he's been honest. He spoke his honest opinion. Is it the right thing to say? No, but that's why everyone knows. Everyone knows that Judge is a better hitter. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? But you can't say that when you're not on the Yankees anymore and your best player, your third best player, I guess, or right now your second best player on the Mets is your own guy. Pete Alonso is right batting right behind you. So he should have said,
He's the
that
number
was the
one player.
past. I play with Alonso now, and he's fantastic. That's what you should have said. But whatever. It's not the end of the world. I don't think so. But it's New York. They make everything big. They magnify
Yeah.
everything.
I
So
mean, it bothered me
he
too. It
didn't really
bothered
take
me
a
too.
shot at Alonso. If I'm Alonso, I don't look at it as that way. Alonso
No,
probably would tell you, yeah, Judge is better than me. What do you expect? Come on, man.
I know, but it's not about that. It's not about that. You know what I'm saying? And you know what's funny? Like they say too that they're saying, oh, he has a lot of pressure because he got paid the big bucks and now he has to perform and he has to show this team and show everybody else that he's worth the money that the Mets spent on him. And you know what? Take your time and relax, man. You know what? Even when Lindor came over with that big money contract too, he it took him a while to figure it out. And now we love Lindor, but for a couple of years there when Lindor first came over, it was like, what's going on? Where's that guy that played for the Indians? Because he's not here in New York and Queens. He's not here right now. And then he finally figured it out. Now we have, a great, great asset, Alonso came back reborn, and I love that. I don't know. Alonso's won a lot of games for us, and he's hitting the ball very hard, and I can give you some really serious numbers. All right, so Soto's, all right, 56 at bats, right? Soto's hitting 250, right? 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, right? And in 2024, right, on this, he he was batting 288, 41 home runs, 109 RBIs. And you know what? It's early. He can still get that to happen, But whatever. Let's see what happens with Soto. Soto's gonna have to get adjusted and relax and realize that he's human too, And keep his mouth shut. That's
Yeah, I personally just think I think the weather just has to do with it. The weather's still cold. The hotter, the warmer it is out there, the thinner the air is, so the ball travels better. And right now, the Mets play on the water, so when it's cold, you get that cold front, so that kind of causes a
yeah.
lot
The
of
ball
winds
doesn't
and
travel.
resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's not like a Truist Park where they don't play on water, or Yankee Stadium for the matter. They don't play on water either.
Yeah, the water's
Very
right
few.
there. The
Well,
water's
Yankee
right
Stadium, not really, not
there.
really.
Yeah.
But either way. It's well, like look, the Mets. If you look over, they're literally right on water. But either way, the point is they don't get the same water up front, whatever it is they call. So I wouldn't worry about Soto. It's this is the problem I have with fans, and we all do. I'm guilty of doing it. Baseball is one of those we live in the moment. There's 162 games. We're a month, a quarter of, not even a quarter of the way into the season, and we're worried about this guy. Like come on, man. Like, let's
Now,
talk after the July and see where they are. If they keep going like this, see, this is a good thing about the Mets, right? They're building. If they can keep going like this, you build up a cushion, so that way, if there is a little bit of a slight fall, a little bit, they
yeah,
struggle, then
they're
that's
they're
okay
still
because
in
you
it.
built up enough cushion because Atlanta's not doing anything. Philadelphia is good. They're right behind you guys. The Nationals are the Nationals and Miami is the Miami. So, they're not going anywhere. It's just the biggest contenders you got to worry about for the Mets is Atlanta and Philadelphia. Now, Atlanta, everyone's quick to cancel Atlanta. Atlanta's struggling, but I wouldn't cancel them out because it's only a month into the season. But are they struggling? Yeah, big time. They got some serious issues. But that's a story for another day. But for the Mets, you want to be like the Yankees a couple years ago, where they built up a cushion, and because they had that cushion, they couldn't get away with having a little bit of a slump in the season. Go on a little losing streak, and have teams
Yeah.
kind of catch up behind you. But I wouldn't worry about it. Like I said, I hate. They need to stop making a big deal. It's just what it's not even what 20 games in. They're already making a deal about it.
No, and that's not even the
It's
problem. The problem is
ridiculous.
that it's Soto making the big deal. All right, so you know, all right, he's talking about I moved on. I'm out with the Yankees, so it's a different flow for me. And you know what? You got to look at Aaron's numbers, right? Aaron's not having any problems hitting the ball without Soto
He's
being
doing
there.
great.
He's doing
Yeah.
great. Let me give you the numbers right now. So he's batting 381, has 6 home runs, 20 RBIs, right?
He leads the majors in RBIs.
All right, exactly. Okay, so look, he's doing fantastic, right? So now you have Soto. Soto's complaining because he's batting 250 with 3 home runs and 7 RBIs, right? Okay, so you know what? It's gonna be okay, bro. Don't worry about it. But then you have Pete Alonso who bats third, right? Right behind Soto, batting 356 with 5 home runs, 20 RBIs. You know what I'm saying? Like that guy's hitting the ball and he's seeing it very, very well. And that's what it is. Is he jealous that Alonso's getting all the attention? You have to relax. You're gonna get the attention too, because you know what the funny thing is about the lineup? The bottom of the order hits just as well. So when Soto and Lindor come back around, there's a huge possibility that it's gonna be a man on, waiting to be, brought around. So
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
yeah,
But like I said, he said something because they asked about it, so he expressed his opinion. Nothing wrong with that. No harm, no foul. But it is New York, like I said before. Everything is magnified. It makes it sound like he's taking a shot at
yeah.
Judge. He's not doing that. He has a lot of respect for Judge. He left New York because he knew that the Yankees were the Judge's team, and he had no chance. And he wanted to kind of make his own team, make his own way. So he's trying to do that, and with the Mets, it's going to take a while because right now it's a lot. It's a Lindor and then Alonso's team because they've been there the longest. You know,
Yeah, no, but it's
now
not
if
even about that.
Alonso,
Yeah. It's not
rakes up the rest of the year and has greater numbers than all those guys, then guess what? It might be Soto's team at the end of the year. Who knows?
No, but no, it's never gonna be Soto's team because over here in Queens is a little different. Over here you have pieces to the puzzle, and Soto being added, that's a great piece. You have to understand that that's a great piece because it changes everything. Look what's happening. All right, him just being there is making another player that hits right behind him so much better just because of his presence prior to his at bat. It's crazy. All right. And this all this, stuff comes out and everybody's reading and watching. And today's game, right? We lost today. So we lost the series to the Twins, all right? Which is
Hmm.
crazy to me. But I didn't get to watch, I was at work. But check this out. So
Yeah, I watched
Lindor,
the end.
you watched the end, right? So Lindor, 3 at bats, right? He walks once, strikeouts. Struck out once. One hit, one run. Here's Soto, 5 at bats. Strikes out 3 times, bro. All right. Here we go. Alonso, 4 at bats. Right. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 RBI, 1 walk. How many strikeouts? None.
Mm.
Alonso, I'm trying to tell you. There's a problem. Like Alonso's hitting, and Lindor's getting his hits here and there. Soto's getting on because he's walking. But a lot of us are worried about Vientos. Taylor, Winker, Marte. These guys aren't hitting at all.
Alvarez, well, he's not back yet,
Alvarez,
but
he's not playing. No, listen. Our backup catcher, Luis Torrens, has been fantastic.
he's
He's
been a good
actually
backup.
hitting an amazing backup, more than good. All right, but he's
He's
been
more than
great.
serviceable. Yeah.
Yeah, he's. You know what? It's the perfect 1-2 combo. This guy caught, I think, like the first 8 games of the season. So I'm not, don't quote me on that, but I know he went, the distance, and now McNeil is coming back, right? So we just lost Siri, right? Because he fouled off a ball, right, off his leg, and he fractured his tibia, I believe, right?
Oh, geez. That's
Yeah,
he's gonna be out for a while.
right. So we just lost him, but you know what the funny thing is, we're getting McNeil back, and McNeil's a true left fielder. I've told you this multiple times. I know he likes to play second, but he's a true left fielder. So right now he's warming up. He's in single A, St. Lucie, and he's fielding.
Who is this? McNeil?
McNeil,
Oh,
yeah.
because he's coming back from rehab. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's coming back. So and so is Alvarez. Alvarez already hit a home run, I believe, in his rehab assignment. But I'm excited for Alvarez return because I think he's gonna make the rotation even stronger and better. Because I think that he's a better catcher in that sense. But you know Torrens is amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm glad that that's not number two. Because I don't have to worry about things like, oh man, today's not gonna be a good day, because that catcher means a lot, to a team. It's very important, like you say. He's the quarterback. He's the guy that he's the man. The quarterback. He's the man. He's the heart of that club. So I
He
want
controls the
Alvarez
pitching
back.
staff.
He controls it. Yeah, he controls it. So I want that man back in the lineup. I'm
And he has a
excited.
decent bat. It's
Yeah,
it's a line drive. He can get hits for you if you need him in big situations.
yeah. And so when that happens,
Middle of the lineup.
so now the problem is I want to get rid of Beatty. Beatty has to go back downstairs. He's not gonna produce anything for us up here. I love
He's
Acuna.
been terrible, man. I don't
Yeah,
know
Beatty.
why.
It's so
Be-
bad, brother.
yeah, man. Me personally, they should have had him stay at AAA. Kept, they still have Acuna, and use
Listen,
him off the bench.
no,
He's
no.
a lot more
Acuna,
reliable.
Acuna should be definitely, he should be
Who did I
playing
say?
second.
Acuna? Did I say
Uh,
the wrong thing?
no, that's the right thing. Acuna should be playing second base. You know why?
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's the option, right? Not only is he fast, he has a lot of heart, he has a lot of
He's a
spirit.
threat on
You
the
know what I'm saying?
base,
He's a threat on bases. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So you need that guy in the lineup on a daily basis. On a
and he plays a
daily.
good second base.
Exactly. He plays a great second base, and we need him to develop there, and he needs to stay there on a daily so he can learn that position. We don't need Beatty taking turns. We don't need Beatty playing a platoon with, you know what I'm saying? I don't like that for no reason, because that guy's not gonna make it. We've tried multiple times. Just send him back downstairs and figure out what you're gonna do with him. But he's not for this team. All right, that's an automatic out, and he's making a lot of errors out there, and I don't think he's the answer for second base over there. McNeil is definitely not the answer, because McNeil has to show me
No.
that he can hit. Now, because McNeil has a serious problem, right? We already have that problem, so don't come back to this team with that problem as well. I know the reason we're playing him is because he got paid, so now we have to play. We have to play him. But nah, play
Yeah,
him
that's
out
true.
there. Play him out there. Take some time away from Tyrone. What you can do is you can platoon McNeil with Tyrone, but you have to keep Acuna, which is the future of our team, on second base. All right, and let him gel there. All right, because I like that combo way better. Vientos, Lindor, Acuna, Alonso, Alvarez. I like that. I like that. Works for me. You know, but we'll see what happens. But you have to understand that the reason why we're not hitting the ball and we're winning these games. Sometimes we get a random 10 on the scoreboard, but that's random. We're winning these games, and it's like really you know, low scoring games, right? But the pitching is what's keeping us alive, all right? So I have the top 10 rotations in the league right now at the moment. And I sent you that information as well. So if you want to take a look, just in case you think I'm lying, the New York Mets, my friend, have a ERA, team ERA of 2.34 when I last checked. So yeah, in the last 3 games, 1.73. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. At home, 1.83. Let's see how we play the Cardinals. 4 game series coming home. We're coming home limping. We could have came back at what,
500 at best.
500
Road
exactly.
trip wise.
Yeah, but we came back 500.
Oh, okay, that's good. Even though you lost the last two.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. We could have
That's all
came back
right. That's
four
all
and
you
two.
want.
No, we could have came back 4-2. 4-2 is way better. But 500, because we won the series with the Sacramento Athletics. We won that series.
Forgot about them. It's
Yeah,
a way to say it that way, the Sacramento Athletics, but
I
it's
mean,
what it is.
it is what it is, bro. Right? And then we lost the
In
series
minor
to
league
the
ballpark.
Twin City. Saying garbage. We lost to them. We lost the series to them. That's how it is, man. But check this out, yo. We have a lot to talk about before we even get into like who's number 2 and 3. But I'm just letting you know that the Mets rotation is a serious thing. It's not a joke, right? We have other teams here that are doing well when you look at the standings, right? So we're gonna talk about all those things in a few. But what we're gonna talk about now, we're gonna dive a little deeper into what's going on in Cleveland, not Cleveland. What's going on
Charm
with
City.
Baltimore in Baltimore? Okay, I was thinking about something else, but we're going to talk about what's going on in Baltimore and their problems and their rotation problems and how we knew that we're going to have pitching problems and but you were hoping for the best type situation and this is definitely not working out for you guys.
No, and I told you in when this podcast started, I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Orioles finished third in the division because I was concerned about the rotation. Let Corbin Burns go. The next best guy was Grayson Rodriguez. He got hurt. He's gonna be coming back in who knows when. So they lost him, and then Kyle Bradish, who was a starter last year, he's been out for a while. He's still recovering. Tyler Wells is recovering. I know I sound like I'm coming up with excuses, but the problem is they knew about these injuries and they did nothing about it. They got Charlie Morton, who's like 50 years old. They got a guy from Japan, Tommy Sugano, whatever his name is. He's what 40? He's like 38 years old. He's doing okay, but he's not lights out. But when you're a team with a new owner who has money and he's giving the GM a green light to spend money and he's not doing it, it bothers me because it just now I feel like they're going back to the old days of when they were owned by the Angelos, where they just or like the Mets were when they were owned by the Wilpons. Well, we can't buy these guys. We gotta be cheap because we don't got the money. Stop playing cheap. If you want to win, sometimes you gotta spend money. Sacrifice. Sometimes you gotta sacrifice the money. So give you a chance to win now.
I
And
mean,
I don't know.
they spent
Yeah,
a
I don't know
little
how
money
long the
on
window
Morton.
is.
The
See, the thing, scary thing.
windows, oh man, the
No, the
window.
scary thing with baseball is everyone looks. Oh, look at the window. It's gonna be open for a while. You don't know, man. Look at the Braves, man. Everyone thought their window's gonna be open for a while. It might be closing earlier than they expected. They still have superstars, but they don't have. They're like the problem with the Orioles and the problem with the Yankees and the problem with the Atlanta is they have good offenses that aren't producing, and the only time they can win games is when they Baltimore's all their games that they've won is because they hit more than one home run. When they hit multiple home runs, they kill everyone. When they don't hit multiple home runs, they're just awful.
But the
And then
pitching's
and then the,
horrible.
and the pitching is not great. The average is like 5 innings a game. You're using your bullpen already. Your bullpen's gonna be exhausted by the time July comes around. You have a closer who's inconsistent, but he's coming back from surgery, so he's not the same. Junior Cano, he's okay, but he's off guard. He's inconsistent. Cionel Perez is inconsistent. But the problem is the rotation. They didn't do anything to address it. And my problem is who are they gonna get in the See, the other thing is who are they gonna get in the you could get Dylan Cease, but you get someone like that, you're gonna have to give him a lot of money. He's gonna want
Hold
the money
on.
right then and
Let
way,
me explain
right then
something to
and there.
you. The San Diego Padres are not giving
I know.
anyone up. All right, you
Now with the
fucked
start
up,
they've been,
sir. They are not. They're. You know what they're trying to do right now? Which I'm a huge San Diego Padre
they're
fan right now.
undefeated at home, dude. They're like
No,
12
no,
and 0.
no. That's a no, that's they lost. Chicago fucked that up. Excuse my
Oh,
language.
what? They're 11 and 1.
Yeah,
Whatever. The point is
11
they're
and one
good
at
at home.
home. At home. Forget about it. Listen, let's hope that that happens over there. Let's hope that Mr. King and Cease can hold on. All right, because if they can, and the way they're hitting, oh man, I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. Listen, they need, and it's okay. Listen, because they
Oh,
have
and you know what's doing well for San
the
Diego?
Giants too. The Giants too. Okay.
Giants have a good rotation. You know who's doing well for the San Diego? Your your boy Iglesias, you know?
Yeah,
Oh my god, he's
listen.
been showing
Iglesias
up,
will
man.
do well everywhere he goes. He always has. All right, he's an asset. All right, the Mets they fucked that up right there because they should have definitely said, we're gonna for DH, bro. He didn't have to play the field. He's a great at bat.
You can use him as a bench player. That's what San Diego does.
Yeah,
He comes off
man.
the bench. All right, someone needs
Utility.
a day off. All right, you play today. Cool. All right,
Yeah,
I'll
of
play
course.
second.
Exactly. And then he has time to recover again. And he can DH if you have to. Like, yo, listen, that guy was great. That was a mistake letting him go. But it's okay. It's okay. Hopefully, but San Diego's definitely going places. Hopefully they can, chop that monster's head off over there and show people that, yeah, you have to spend a little bit of money. You have to not have a pretty good rotation, but you don't have to spend, you know,
Like
money
over and
that you don't even
money.
have. Yeah, money
Yeah.
that you don't even have yet.
Yeah, I see. I personally think the whole situation going back to the Verlander, Max Scherzer, that opened a lot of eyes to other teams because the Mets, they did the right thing. They said, all right, we got two good guys. They're, near the end of their prime, but they still got something in the tank. Let's give them a shot. There might be a chance to win. And they went for it and it didn't work out. Now, the Mets are lucky because they were able to buy out of those deals. Orioles, yeah, they got a new owner and other teams. They might not be able to afford to cough up, however much money that was between the three of those guys. So they're not gonna. That's why a lot of teams are a little shaky. Like, do I want to give this guy all his money? What happens if he doesn't show up? Or now, Cease is a little bit younger than Verlander and Scherzer, but the point is like you give all this money, and then it's just like, what happens if he can't play? Now he's out for the whole year. Look at Yankees and Garrett Cole. His first
Yeah,
time being out in that contract they've given him, but that's a year they're gonna lose, and they're still gonna have to give him all that money. So it's a in any player you sign, there's a risk. It's just like a job, any job that hires you, they're taking a risk. They have no clue what kind of work ethic you have. They don't know. Same thing with the Mets. When they hired Soto, you hope that you're going to get the Soto that was in the Bronx and the San Diego. You don't know yet. It's still early in the season. That's what you sign him for. See in baseball and other sports, you sign him for the things he's done in the past and
of
not what
course.
he's going to do
It's
for you
called
in the
the
future.
resume, brother. It's called the resume.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
But that's the risk you take. Um, so I think that hurt the pitching market because all these guys, last year, look at all these guys, Snell, who else? All the guys that are free agents. They took forever to sign, and they got lowball deals, and they signed 1 year deals because they're gonna get the big contracts. And even Snell, who did resign, who did sign a contract with the Dodgers, he didn't even get that big of a deal too because like the Dodgers like, well, you're kind of near the end of your back half. You'll be a good, middle, fifth, middle of the rotation guy, and all right, we don't have to give you tons of money because
Yeah, but that's bullshit because he's gonna be great and he's gonna do his thing. And you
yeah,
know
he's
what?
doing all right. But it's the Dodgers, so he'll be fine.
Exactly. He'll be just fine. There's so much
Yeah.
action over there. They don't need to worry about him. He'll be fine. But he's gonna contribute though. It's gonna be great for them. But it's okay though. Listen, that division right there, man, it's on fire, bro. Let me explain something to you.
Arizona too, man. Arizona's a little sneaky team.
Yeah, this is prior. You're 100% right. I have the details right here. This is prior to today's games. I don't know, But look, San Diego 14-4 at home, 11-1 away, 3-3. This is the amazing thing about San Diego. Okay, the same thing with the Mets, right? So this is the crazy thing. Runs scored, right? They scored 84 runs, right, since the season started, and
Hmm.
runs allowed 49. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So San Diego has the second best ERA in baseball right now, right below the Mets, right at 2.59 team ERA. In the last three, 1.29, which is a little better than the Mets, right?
Hmm.
And then the last one, 0.90, right?
Hmm.
And it's pretty amazing, right? Away they have a little bit of problems, the ERA balloons up a little bit, 5.47, but at home, ERA is 1.24. Well, obviously, to win 11 games before, taking your first loss. The pitching is amazing. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Pitching keeps you in games. And I think those guys have something. But let's see how far they can go because, they're always up there. But it's crazy because if they're having that type of division over there this year, where they're having a party over there like that,
You got
that
three
means that
teams make the playoffs out of that
exactly,
division. That means someone's going to
exactly.
lose out. That means someone in the East. You
East
might only get
is
one team out of the NL East. And it could just be the
exactly the
Mets.
division and winner.
The division,
Exactly.
excuse me.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because
It was like
things
that
are
a couple years
changing.
ago with the AL East. You had the Orioles, the Yankees, and I want to say Toronto. I think all those three guys made it. And so, in the Central, because of that, only one team from now the Central, AL Central is terrible, but I think maybe ALS only one. Someone I think it was Texas. They missed out because the AL East was so good. They only had one team in that division that finished under 500. Everybody else was great.
Yeah. It's gonna be the
So
same
that
thing
could
with
be that
this.
happen.
Yeah, I can
And
see it happen.
Arizona has a good rotation. The Dodgers have a great rotation. If I go by rotation order, I'd say Dodgers,
Mhm.
Diamondbacks, and Padres. Those are the order rotation. They
I
have the
mean,
best three
and
rotate in that
now I'm talking
division.
about you're basing that on names. You're not basing that on what's happening right now in the
No, I'm not
numbers
based
right
on
now at the moment.
stats. And San
Yeah,
Francisco
well,
is good too. I forgot
no, no,
about them.
you're right. I just said that. You're not basing it on numbers. You're basing it on names.
On who you
So
know.
on who you know. I know, but I'm telling you right now, the Mets have the best team ERA
Oh
in
no, no, no.
baseball.
Mets have a
In
really
baseball.
surprising starting
No, it's not.
rotation.
It's not surprising. It's not surprising anymore. It's a known fact that if you go into this dungeon below City Field, there's a pitching program down there. You go down there, you were an okay pitcher, but when you come out the other side of the tunnel, you're
You
an
be Randy
amazing pitcher.
Johnson.
Exactly. It's
Now
pretty.
that's great, and see, it makes your GM look genius because he's like, all right, well, listen, I can see if I can develop the guys I have and see what I can work with. If they're great, then great. I can keep these guys without having to pay them a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if they're really good, you can say, you know what, let me give them the contract. Let me give them that contract now before I have to give them a massive contract. You know, so they could get it. They could sign a guy for 6 years, 180 now instead of waiting and having to sign a guy for 300 million to be a pitcher. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
understand.
maybe it sounds like right now the Mets have found some diamonds in the rough, and that's what you want to do as a GM. Find guys in your own system or through via free agency that can start. And look at Clay Holmes; he's doing okay for someone who was a closer last year. He's been
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
No, I didn't know what he was going to be. I didn't know if he could go that far, but he can go the distance. He can
yeah.
pitch more than one inning.
He needs no.
So
He needs a little bit. He needs to be tweaked a
he
little
needs a
bit.
little
But he,
tune up,
yeah,
but
yeah.
he's
But he
okay.
has it. He has it. Yeah. The
Yeah.
rotation has been amazing. And don't forget that
So he's a
Sean.
great supply.
Yeah, Sean Manaea
Manaya, when
is
before he
still
got
out.
hurt.
Yeah, he's not back yet,
So
which is crazy. It's not. Yeah, still out.
Manaya, Peterson has always been
Blackburn.
good.
Oh, I love
Blackburn
Peterson,
has
man.
been the great surprise.
McGill though. McGill has been
McGill
great.
has been, but McGill, you kind of knew that was you knew that the potential was there with McGill.
No,
Blackburn, that was a surprise.
no. For me, it was the opposite. For me, it was I knew Peterson had it. I wasn't so
Peterson,
sure about
yes.
McGill.
Peterson, I knew it was going to take time. Does that make sense?
No, but they're both here at the same time. That's what's crazy. They finally made it. So we had those diamonds there. They were, and I was like, I saw them coming up. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of liked McGill early on, but then he lost it. But I always liked Peterson. I especially liked Peterson last year. So he has something, and
Yeah,
we
he had a good
have,
end, and he's doing
yeah,
good.
Yeah, yeah, we have something. We have something.
And it's great because you know why? Those guys are doing well is because they can eat up a lot of innings. So it's gonna
Hmm.
save your bullpen. So you don't have to
Yes.
pitch Diaz in like
Oh my
close
God.
situations.
And that bullpen has been amazing. The only problem with the bullpen, once again, is Edwin Diaz. It's horrible, Lasha. It's driving me crazy. I want to strangle him. I don't understand what the hell
Yeah.
the fucking problem is. He's really pissing me off. It's like, what are you doing? All right, he's knocking guys out with the ball. He's, throwing wild pitches, getting men across. Like he's disturbing to watch. It's like, oh my god, let me get away from the television. Let me just turn it off because Edwin Diaz is pitching. This is what's happening. Okay, it's getting scary. It's getting scary. I don't like it. I don't like it. But anyway, let's talk about this West NL West because it's crazy. San Francisco is right behind the Padres, 12-5. That's crazy, bro. All right, and then the Dodgers, the best team in baseball, the world champions, are 13-6, man. All right, and then Arizona, like you said, they're sneaky, 10-7. So this whole division right here could easily fall into the playoffs, especially the first three, right? Or maybe the first four, because I can see that Arizona sneaking into a wild card of some sort, right? With these other guys over here, and that means that the NL East is going to be dry with just the Mets at the top or the Phillies. You never know because the Phillies could easily do that. All right, so the Mets don't play just as hard as these guys over here. We're in trouble. The Mets could easily see themselves out of the playoffs with a division like this over here if they don't play it just as hard.
Yeah, I'm as we're talking, I'm looking at the San Francisco Giants lineup, and they got a sneaky team. You got Yastrzemski, you got Willie Adames. Remember, he came over from Milwaukee. He's been doing great. You got Jung Ho Lee. That's the guy they got. I want to say he's from Korea or something, or Japan. One of the guys. He was a center field they got in the via from overseas. You got Ramos Lamontway Jr. I think he's Wilmer Flores, former
Yeah,
Met.
oh, of
He's
course.
he's
Classic,
he's
classic.
found a new career over in
On
San
the west side,
Francisco.
yeah.
And yeah, so they're a sneaky team, and their rotation is not bad. They got Chris Ray. I think that's who it is. Yeah, Chris Ray pitched today. Robbie Ray, excuse me. I don't know where I got Chris
Yeah,
Ray
yeah.
from.
I
Anyway,
know.
Robbie Ray, and they got a sneaky team. So and this is just proof why in baseball having a great rotation is like having a good quarterback or a great goaltender in hockey or a great
Definitely.
quarterback in football. You
Mm-hmm.
have to have a great rotation.
We
And that's what
do.
makes me mad about the Orioles and the Mets because they knew that they lost. The Orioles lost one of their best starters. They knew they were going to get other guys back late in the season. Now, injuries they can't predict. And the same with the Padres. Yeah, Strider just came back today. I mean, excuse me, with the Braves,
Yeah, yeah,
Spencer Strider came back. He had a good outing. They just couldn't produce runs. But the problem is your offense is starting out slow, and your pitching is nowhere to be found.
yeah.
And so
See,
you're
that's
having to go
problem.
through your bullpen. Your bullpen is a trash. I saw Iglesias, the closer. I can't stand him. He's like awful. He's the guy they got in the trade for when they with the Angels. He's been awful. He's inconsistent. He's like Diaz. He comes in, you got to hold your breath because God, there's a good chance he's gonna blow the game, even if they have like a 1 or 2 run lead. So what happens is you don't have rotation. The guys they have, they got Holmes, Schwallenbach, and Smith Schuster, whatever his name is. They're all a bunch of guys. They were rookies last year. They're not superstars. They have inconsistency at the catcher because Murphy just came back. He's just learning how to catch these guys. He didn't really catch him a lot last year because he was always hurt. Murphy's always hurt. Drives me crazy. Acuna's not back, so that's gonna take a while. The offense and then Michael Harris has been awful at the plate, man. He just like big opportunities. He just strikes out or flies out. He's just been terrible. In these games against Toronto, I was watching the games. They should have won. They should have won at least 2 out of 3. They lost 2 out of 3. They just couldn't score runs like today's game. I was like, what the heck? They had in today's game, right? Man on first and third, no out. Michael Harris couldn't do nothing. He ran to a double play in the game, and then they just like ran out of it. I was like, my goodness.
And then
And
you
the
lose
pitchers did all right. The
He
Striders
lost
are
to
now their
Spencer.
ace.
And what happened
Huh?
to Jackson Profar? Right? That's his name.
Jerkson Profile,
Yeah,
he's a
whatever.
dummy. I don't know what these guys doing steroids, man. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Bro, you're not even a
Atlanta.
power hitter. You just a line drive hitter. Why do you need to do that, man?
Listen, I love
He
it.
was a good bet. In my opinion, that was a good under the radar signing. Now he didn't know that he was going to be getting caught doing steroids. Did he think he was going to get caught? If you tell him, "Hey, you going to get caught?" No, no. He'll say, "No way, no say." He wouldn't admit to that. No one knows because these drug tests are random. They catch you they catch you, when you're least expecting. They caught him off guard and they caught him. So the only person you got to blame is himself. But even when he was playing, he wasn't lights out. Yeah, he produced some runs, but he wasn't putting up Acuna numbers. He wasn't. Another guy that's struggling for them is Jared Kelenic from the former Met prospect. He's a little shaky. Harris is shaky. Kelenic is shaky. Riley's slowly getting warm. He had a couple of home runs, which is good. Austin ain't doing much. Albies ain't doing much. It's just the lineup is dry. No one's doing anything. So you're just trying to get squeezing the juice, and there's no juice coming out
Yeah,
of it. So
it's
it's what it
great.
is. And then
No,
see the other problem with the Orioles. Going back to the Orioles is that their lineup. This surprised me about the Orioles is that all their players are playing. No one's hurt. You know what I mean? They're every guy goes up there to hit a home run, and that's not how you win. And that's is why they can't win because one, they have no starting pitching, and when they don't produce runs, they don't hit home runs. I mean, they lose a game. If you look at every game they won, like today's game, they hit like 7 home runs today. 4 or 5 home runs. Yeah, any team that hits 4 or 5 home runs in a game, you're gonna win pretty much. When you only hit one home run in a game, and that's all you
that's
rely
done.
on. And
It's
that's the
over.
problem with the Yankees too. It's a home run or nothing team, and this is all of baseball. It's not just it's not just the Yankees, the
No,
Orioles,
the
the
Mets don't
Braves.
play. The Mets don't play
The
like
Mets
that. The
don't
Mets
do
don't
that.
play.
I
The
don't know
Mets
why I said
don't
the
do
Mets.
that. Don't say
No,
that.
they play
Stop.
small ball.
Keep my team out of your mouth,
They
sir.
play small
Okay?
ball,
Because remember, you're
but
lucky. You're lucky you're in Atlanta, bro, and I'm over here. Because if not, if you know what happens after
rough
you
you
say
up.
that, keep my team out of your mouth, son. You
But you
talk.
you, you know what I'm talking about.
No, no, no. I don't know what you're talking about.
As
Because you just
far
finished
as
saying,
as
like the
far as
Mets. The
teams
Mets
that
don't do.
don't play small ball, they
No, no,
tend
no.
to
So
lose.
keep my team out of your mouth. All right? Because you're talking trash
But
right
the
now.
Mets do win with
The
small
Mets,
ball.
we start exactly. We do. Thank you, sir. And then we have the occasional blast, which hurts them even more. But yeah, we're small, small
But
ball.
hey, it's okay. It works.
It
And
works
if
for
I'm the
us
Mets, I hope they keep that pace. If the home runs go up when the weather gets warmer, that's a
better.
big plus
That's a
because
big
now you're
plus.
scoring runs every way.
Yeah,
You put a
both
lot of
ways.
pressure because now pitchers got to worry about, man, I can't. He has the pitcher has no room to breathe because if he gets up a base hit, who knows? If you got guys on base, you give up like we were talking about earlier in the car, right? If you have Alonso, if you have Soto, Alonso, and Nimmo coming up, you walk the first two guys. Nimmo can hit a base hit, even drive a home run. Now you
Yeah,
gotta take a chance. So
they
they're
have
gonna score a run,
problems.
guarantee you.
Yeah,
So it puts a lot of pressure. So that's a
yeah.
plus.
That's a
So
great scenario. Yeah, it's a
Soto
great.
was a great idea, and it looks great now that the Mets re-signed Alonso because with Vladimir Guerrero signing
Yeah,
with the Blue Jays, and I don't know what free agents can be available next year, first baseman wise. You
neither
know,
do I. I was looking at this kid, and you know what's funny? They came to City Field to get swept by the Mets, right? So they were scared. They were like, "Oh my God!" He saw what they have over there. They were probably talking in his ear.
who was
So
this? Can you repeat that?
Vladimir Guerrero, because
Oh,
we
Guerrero
Toronto came to City Field for a whole series,
in
and
the
we
first game of
swept
the season.
them. We
Yeah,
swept them, bro. So I know that Vladimir was talking to the players, and they were like, perfect scenario because Alonso would have definitely renegotiated. He would have got his money. They would have gotten Vladdy as well. Vladdy would have played first. Alonso would have DH because we don't have a true DH. And we don't have Marte problems next year, so we don't have to worry about that. But Alonso, if you're hitting the way you're hitting like now, then you have to stay as a third number three hitter. You have to. Lindor, Soto, Alonso. And then after that, Vladdy. You do whatever you want. Nemo. You do whatever you want after that. But you construct something really nice like that. Especially because we're not taking advantage of the DH this year.
I have a lot of hope for, and who's going to show up. I think as the weather gets warmer too. Vientos. I think
Oh
he's going to be
man,
big.
I hope so, man.
He's
Because listen,
struggling a little bit. Let's be honest. He's struggling a
he's
little bit.
struggling. Let's
He's
be
trying to find
honest.
himself.
He's killing me right now, bro. He's killing me, bro. I hope that when it warms up, he's able to become who he was. He needs to relax a little bit. He's such a great player. I love him. I love him.
Could
I
that be the
hope
reason
that
why I think Beatty's still up here? Because maybe like give Vientos a break.
they did. They played the. They gave Vientos a break today, and they played Bailey at third today. I didn't get to watch the game, but I know
That's what I
that
mean.
for a
That's maybe
fact.
why Beatty's still up here because they like, all right, maybe we gotta give this guy a breather.
No, no, but they need to figure it out because once McNeil comes back, we don't need him playing anywhere near the infield. He can play out there. Listen, Tyrone is having a problem too. Tyrone Taylor, I love Tyrone. Tyrone's not doing his job, so I'm having
No,
problems. Nemo's hitting. Lindor's starting to hit. Alonso's the only beast hitting, and Soto's getting walked left and right. So I love that for him. And
yeah,
but Beatty, Vientos, nobody's hitting the ball, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's bad.
yeah, and what do you call
Torrens is hitting the ball, but
Lindor? He's hit.
Lindor,
See, Lindor. Problem with Lindor, he hits the ball, but it just goes to the wrong place. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
sometimes
Not like he just
yeah,
whiffing or he just pops out all the time. He hits balls. Be like, man, how the heck are you not gonna be? Because the guy just
yeah,
happened to be at the right place at the right
yeah.
time. I was like, gosh darn it, man. So I watched some of the game today. I was like, man, it just like so I could see how like you'd be frustrated. But
No,
you
that's
can't win
good.
them all.
Yeah, no, but you can't win them all. But you're right, like you said, you keep saying it, right? So this year's gonna be all about the pitching, right? Because they keep talking about torpedo bats, blah blah blah. But you see how the torpedo bat, nobody's talking about them right now. But you know what's
Yeah,
going? Nobody's talking about them anymore. But you know what's funny though? The rotations that the San Diego Padres have, right? So look, Michael King, and it's funny because before the season started, we were like, "Wow, San Diego's gonna unload. The Mets can grab Michael King and grab Cease and grab Jose Iglesias in a package. We can get rid of Beatty, Marte, McNeil. We'll give them everybody. Acuna, if we have to. I was willing to give up Acuna to get those two guys, and not only that, you would have to there will be rentals, because I know that Cease he's done this year, so now they're going for it now.
yeah,
They're
they're
not
not
gonna
gonna
give it
trade him.
exactly. They're not gonna trade him. They have to go for it. All right, especially if they don't tank at the halfway mark, they might have to get something to improve a little bit, but they might have to go over the way with this guy. You know,
I got a question for you.
go ahead, talk to me. It's gonna be crazy. I have
If,
something to say too. But
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
If you're Pittsburgh, right?
Mm, mm.
You know they ain't going anywhere anytime. My good friend Nathan, who's I work with his wife. He's a Pirates fan. He's from Pittsburgh, and I said to him, I said, man, Skeens is gonna be a waste of great talent in a crappy organization who can't win. If you could get 3 or 4 number one prospects, would you trade Skeens if you're Pittsburgh?
Wow. Well,
Because
listen.
think about it, you could get a lot of prospects back from
No,
him.
no, no, no. This is you can't do it. You know why? Because this is the same reason Toronto was stressed, and I believe Vladdy had told them, okay, this is the deadline for talking for extensions or whatever. And look, it still happened after that series with the Mets, right? They must have been really scared. They were like, we have to throw something at this kid because he's gonna leave. And he's their franchise player. You have to understand that Toronto's been acting kind of funny lately. But you see now they're in it, they want to fight. If you can see it, they're starting to build something. They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But they are. So Baltimore's window, like we were talking about, Baltimore's window is closing. Because now you see Toronto spending money, all right, and they have
But that that
Springer.
does that
I like the
spending money is
lineup.
not going
No,
to win.
no,
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 they don't
no.
have
It's
a
not
good
gonna. No, no,
rotation.
no. It's not about. Listen, it's not about that. Listen, they're building something. I said they're building something. I didn't say they were ready. I didn't say they were rich. And I said they were building something, and you can see
Yeah,
it,
that's
right?
true.
So you have to remember, like your window is closing. Their window is about to open. All right. And you have the Yankees who look at that. Soto said no. Boom, boom, boom. 2 seconds later, they put a team together with no problem. Because you know that this team that they put together is the after effect, because if Soto
Yeah.
would have said, yeah, let's ride, it would have been a completely different team because they wouldn't have went crazy the way they put that team together. So
So the last thing I want to bring up is, do you think next year we'll have the automatic balls and strike system? Because this year there's been so many bad calls by these umpires, and like when I say bad calls, like literally like pitches outside the zone, it's getting so bad, and you can't argue balls and strikes. So with that being said, and it's also kind of cost teams games and chances because these
yeah,
are crucial calls and crucial
yeah,
situations. I can't think of a big moment at the moment, but I just been watching. I was like, man, how the heck? It's getting frustrating, man. It might just be time that they just
yeah.
maybe you keep the umpire, but you just challenge it like they do in the minors. I don't know why we have to wait a whole year. They were doing it in spring training. Why don't they just say, all right, we'll try it. If it doesn't,
No, they want to iron it out. Iron it out. I want to make
yeah,
sure, but
but
I
it's
love
quick,
it.
man.
Listen, I can't wait. I can't wait, Lasha, because it helps. It helps. It helps us too. Because we
Can
need
help a
that
lot of
call.
people.
Yeah, because look, I mean, look at the replay. The replays help too. When they say, "Ah, no, no, I think that was safe." And they do the replay. Yes, it was safe. You know how many that changes everything in the game, especially when you're down some runs. You need that. You need that help. So this will help us too. So I'll definitely take it. I'll embrace it. Anything that can help the team, especially when things go south, and it's not the team's fault. I definitely want that. I want that help. It helps. But we have to talk about this, okay? I know you don't have any pitching and you're sick to this. You don't even want to watch baseball. I think you can't wait till the season's over because you feel like these guys aren't gonna improve. Atlanta's out of it. Forget about Atlanta. It's gonna be now with this problem in the
They're
West.
not going to win the
Atlanta will not
division.
get. They won't get a wild card either. They won't get a wild card either. You know how hard they have to fight to win a wild card? At this rate, they might have to win 90 something games to get the wild card. Because at that rate these guys are going, yeah.
Even 90 games might not guarantee you
T.
because you
Yeah.
could a team could have 90. If you got three teams out of the NL West,
With 90
90
wins.
plus wins each,
Oh
forget
my,
about it.
forget about
You
it.
could have 90 wins. Arizona can make it with 92, and you're screwed. So
Exactly.
Atlanta's a lot of trouble as long as they don't have no pitching. So in my opinion, that's what's going to cook them, and they don't have the assets to trade for a big pitcher, or so it's too late. It's
It's
what it
over
is.
for them. It's over for
Yeah, it
them.
sucks to wave the white flag. Maybe the offense will get better. Maybe they get warm. Who knows?
No,
But
I don't
at,
think so.
even if they make the playoffs, they don't have a good rotation that's going to carry them in a 5-game series. So
Yeah.
it's what it is. It
I
sucks,
mean,
but what are you gonna do?
yeah, it sucks. But you know who's having fun with the rotation? San Diego. Let me tell you what they did. They won 11 games in a row at home, right? Then yesterday, Chicago steal a game from them 2-1, right? Whatever. It's okay. But this past Sunday, King, another guy that I thought was gonna be wearing a Mets uniform because I thought that they were gonna just destroy the team and say, all right, guys, this is your new assignment. But no. So King he goes the distance, right? Gets his first shutout of his career, right? And this is the sixth shutout this season for the Padres, bro. It's crazy. Not only did they do
And
that,
that's a
right?
lot.
No, no, no. But check this out. This is this crazy stat, that you're gonna hear one day when you're like 80 at a random, trivia spot at a bar or something. Somebody's gonna ask you a stupid question. You're gonna actually have the answer because you're gonna remember it because it happened tonight. So the Padres, right? They outscored Colorado 16-0 for the
No, you're
whole
talking about the
series.
Dodgers.
No, no, it was Colorado.
Oh yeah, and the Cubs beat. I'm thinking the Cubs beating the Dodgers 16-0 the other day too.
No, no, no. I'm
Sorry.
talking about for the whole series. For the whole
Oh
series,
oh.
16-0. So the first time ever that an MLB team held an opponent scoreless for the entire series of at least 3 games since Cleveland did it to Kansas City in 2017. So yes, it's the first time since that. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. San Diego's man. I was watching the games because I made bets, player prop bets on Machado and Tatis and stuff. And the Dodgers came through. See what I've been doing when it comes to betting player prop bets. you got to pick the teams that are playing Colorado because like the pitcher for Colorado,
You know.
he's not gonna get the strikeouts that you're thinking of, especially if they're playing the Dodgers. So I took the pitcher on the Dodgers. He gave me money because he got more than 5 strikeouts. Who else? Will Smith, the catcher, he got more than 2 hits, so that helped me a lot. And then Soto came through. You just pick him in a quick, easy, you know, how many base hits, 1.5 on base hits, things like that. So they gave me money. So you got to look at Colorado, who are they playing, and there's a good chance. And Colorado strikes out all the time, man. Their best player was Chris Bryant, I guess, and Bobby Doyle. He's okay, but other than that, they are horrible. So that's who I've been following. But yeah, the Padres are great. I watch them. They have a good backup. They have a good catcher, Diaz. He came from Colorado. He was in the All Star game 2 years ago. He was a starter for the Rockies. He's now the San Diego Padres catcher. They got their
Yeah,
rotation is good.
it ain't no bullshit. So there's their
No,
ERA.
and their infield is great. Bogarts, you name it.
Yeah, their ERA is crazy. It's 2.68, right? So they're the second best in baseball because number one, you know what the team is?
Who? The Metropolitans of
That's
Queens, New York.
correct. Just in
Nah,
case, because
man.
I was gonna ask you because wanted to see if you were listening. But
No,
not
no,
only
they've
that,
been great, man.
but you know what they hold the record in? You know what they
Who
hold
holds
the
the
record in?
record?
No, the Padres. You know what they have going on? Right? The batting average against their opponents, right? 181. So they
Yeah.
not that's crazy, bro. So that's what's going
The
on.
teams that playing them against San Diego
As
batting
a collect
180. That's
yes,
crazy. That's
yeah.
bad.
Collectively. Yeah.
But it helps that you're playing Colorado. And Chicago's kind of
No, but they play but
Chicago just took one game, but they won in extra innings. I was watching that game. And Colorado, I mean not Colorado, Chicago Cubs, they got a decent lineup, better than Colorado's, but
no, they're playing well this year. They're playing well.
the Cubs are playing well, and
I,
they're in a bad division. I hate to say it.
oh, come on, man.
Milwaukee's not bad. Cincinnati, there's Cincinnati's gonna be Cincinnati's gonna be a wild card team in my opinion. They're getting hot. Dela Cruz had like a grand slam the other day
No, you
against
keep
the
saying that Cincinnati is not going to be a wild card team, bro. Not
uh,
with what's going on in the West, bro. If that continues, we'll see. We'll see how we'll monitor
they
it.
might get the last spot.
We'll monitor it because I don't think you're right about that. I think
I
that
don't know, man, because what is it, the NL Central? They're terrible. Milwaukee's surprisingly good considering their rotation is not all that great.
nah,
They're
they're good. They're
surprisingly
good.
good,
They're
and they got
good.
a decent lineup. But and the Cubs, so it's Cubs and Milwaukee, Arizona. I mean, call St. Louis is okay, but they're not. They're not the old St. Louis Cardinals, so they're not a threat anymore. And Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh. They like Baltimore. They just notoriously stink. But yeah, so who knows? Like I said, if you're a Mets fan, enjoy the ride. I think it's going to be around for a long time, and the weather gets better. They're only going to get better, and they
Nah,
got
but
to
too.
take advantage of Atlanta sucking terribly. You
Nah,
really got to
so
take advantage of it.
nah, so back to this Paul Skeens question. I'm thinking about what you said, right? And it's happened to a lot of great players. I'm not saying that he's gonna get stuck in Pittsburgh because if you think about it, Mr. Cole that plays for the Yankees now, who's out for the season, where did he start? He started in Houston, right?
Pittsburgh. No, Cole
Pittsburgh.
was originally from Pittsburgh.
There you go.
He got traded. They traded him to Houston, and then he became free
That's what I'm
agent. Came with
saying.
the
That's
Yankees.
what I'm saying. Yeah. So look, there you go, right there.
And he left at the right time, but you get more
Exactly.
of a return back for him than you would with Cole.
Yeah, you
Imagine
would.
if the Yankees had Skeens and Cole and Max Fried. Oh my
Oh my
lord!
God. Yeah.
You know, it's a team that could get Paul Skeens. I'm not kidding, but they wouldn't do it because they don't. They have too much money. I would not be surprised the Dodgers because they have the prospects. See, the Dodgers danger. They got the money and the prospects. They could trade the whole farm system for Paul Skeens and it would work just fine. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. You know why? Because they're so rich in that department because they don't have any of those kids playing baseball
And
right now.
Baltimore could do that too, in my opinion. They could trade their top 6 prospects, and I don't know if they would get Skeens, but they
Nah,
could if they really wanted to. But
nah,
they're not
nah.
going to.
They're not gonna
They
get
have to
skipped.
pay a lot of money, and they're not going to do that.
Nah.
Baltimore's new
He
cheap.
would go. He would have to go to a high profile team, right? And is he gonna be an asshole and go to the Dodgers? Of course he is, because he played for LSU, right?
Yeah, that's true. He's a California. I think he's a California kid.
He's a
Yeah,
California, right? Okay, then. So that's it, bro.
California. They produce
Get,
the best baseball players, man. They
get
just
out of here with that, man. Listen. That's what's gonna happen. That's why he's not gonna end up, you know, tired in Pittsburgh for his whole career. He's gonna actually compete in some serious shit. But who's gonna be the team? We'll find out because it's happened before. All right, there's a lot of players out there that became super somebodies when they left the team they were in. I'll give you a perfect example: Zach Wheeler. But just to name a few,
Taiwan Walker
Taiwan Walker should have never left the Mets, but he wasn't really a Met for that long. I'm talking about, Zach Wheeler was a Met,
for a long
long
time.
time, and when he became an
He
ace,
was the fifth
still
starter for
is.
that team.
And look at that, he's the ace over there. Are you kidding me? Nasty boy. I love him. He's really something to watch.
Well, like I said, when you have a great catcher and JT Realmuto, that helps a lot. I'm telling you, man,
Oh
catches
no, I know
make a
that.
difference,
Of
man.
course it
And
does.
that's what's good thing about the Mets is that Alvarez is starting to be good. I'm a really good defensive catcher.
Yeah.
His bat's gonna he's only gonna get bigger and stronger. He's a small guy that has power, and he's gonna be dangerous too, man. I'm telling you, he's gonna be the next. In my opinion, he could be Yadier Molina, man.
Of
Great behind
course.
the plate, got a
And give it
strong
the
bat.
bat.
Even though I say that Yadier Molina, I love that guy. Boricua, he was small, but he was dangerous. All the brothers, all the Molina brothers, Jose Molina, all the guys, Yadier, and I forgot what the other, they were all
Benji,
dangerous. Like
Benji.
Benji Molina, they're all tough guys. They can hit the ball, but Yadier was one of the best. Him and another guy that reminds me, Pudge Rodriguez, another great guy. Not that big, but he had power and he was great behind the plate. Another Boricua. He was just great, man. Posada, same thing. Not a big guy, stature wise, but he was more known for his catching than he was offensively. Like he wasn't really a big home run hitter, but he always was clutch. He always came up
Hmm.
when they
Yeah,
needed to.
yeah, yeah. He did. He did. He
And
came. Yeah.
Alvarez could be a Posada type clutch guy, and
Nah,
that's what
way
you want.
better. Way better. He could be way better.
Better with the bat, yes, more
Yeah.
power. So
He
yeah,
could,
if he can turn out to be like a Yadier Molina, Mets found a diamond in the rough
no, we have
because
it. We have it. Trust me.
yeah.
That guy is not going
So
anywhere. That guy's
if
ours.
I hope and pray this injury he has is just minor, which I think it is. I don't think it's severe because he should be back next month maybe at best.
No, he's already training. He already hit a home run in the
Oh,
minors.
that's right. So yeah, might by the end of the month, but not even by then. Whatever, April by next week. Who knows? But after Easter, he could be back. So if you can get him back by
Yeah.
Easter, then which is the end of the week, but still,
I
it's
think so.
exciting.
So
Enjoy
yeah.
it, enjoy it, and if the rotation carries you through, which is great
Yeah.
because it's gonna
Can you
help.
imagine?
Well, it's gonna help. You know why it's gonna be a plus? Because then you don't have to use Diaz as much. You don't have to rely on him. You
Yeah.
know the Baltimore Orioles, they've only had one game that they were ahead and they had to bring the closer in, and he's only had one save. That's how bad they are. They've
Wow.
never had a lead in any other games.
That's crazy.
Like going into the ninth with the lead, like now
Yeah, yeah.
today
So
was a blowout. Every time they do have a lead, it's a blowout. It's never like up by two. Let's bring in Batista.
yeah.
Same thing with the Mets. Let's bring in Diaz, but the Mets had to use Diaz in one-run
Yeah,
games,
because
and
the games, for some reason,
they
the
just
opposing teams had good pitching at the time when we played them too for some reason. So because we played,
like
we
today, for example, I watched the game. Minnesota, are they great? No, but their bullpen played really well. Their
you
pitching
see,
played really
that's
well.
what I'm
They shut
saying.
down a hot offense for the Mets.
Yeah,
Now, granted, Minnesota's a lot colder than New York, so it's still freezing probably.
yeah,
You
and
know,
they love that shit over there because they're used
yeah,
to
they know
that.
how to play.
They know
Yeah,
how to play in that. It's crazy, but it's true. It makes a difference. That's why you're right. The ball. Listen, I've been to City Field multiple times this year already. And I've seen the ball fly and just drop. It's crazy. It flies hard, like you hear it, bang. You're like, oh my god, here we go.
yeah.
It's
You're like,
out of
oh
here,
look, you watch it
and
like,
then
oh,
it
that's
just
gonna hit the
drops.
apple, and then like, what the
No,
heck? Where does this guy come down?
it just completely drops. It's like, what the hell happened here? But
Yeah, there was
it's
a
the
couple games
weather.
against Miami. They had bombs. Like, and then I'm like, how the heck did Kyle Stowers, the former Oriole, how did the guy? How the heck did he catch that ball? And it's like 7 feet short of the line, the home run porch. Right? I was like, how the heck did? I was like, what? That's the problem with Soto. You see all these hits, like, oh, he's gonna get that. And like, all of a sudden he gets all to the wall and it's just dead. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's
So
okay.
same thing with Lindor. He's hitting it hard, but then it just goes right to the stupid outfielder, or it goes to the infielder.
Yeah.
So that's just part of the game, but it's okay. Why? See, this is what you want. Because what you want is your pitching to do well to make up for the lack of your offense. If your pitching struggles but your offense picks up, then it's a kind of like a seesaw balance. It's okay. So if my offense struggles but my pitching's great, great. If my pitching struggles and my offense goes up, man, I'm okay. I can stay afloat. I'm not gonna fall under. I'm not gonna lose my lead in the division. You don't have to worry about all that craziness. And if you can stay afloat like that, you're gonna win that division smoothly. Philadelphia's probably going to be. They'll probably lose that division by 3 or 4 games, maybe.
Oh man,
It's going to be close.
yeah, it's gonna be close.
To say the Mets win by 10 games in that division, that'd be amazing. For that to happen, Philadelphia would have to fall apart, and Atlanta
No,
would have to be all the
it's
way out of
gonna
the
nah. It's
playoffs.
gonna come down to those divisional series. That's gonna
Yeah.
come down to that because
But it's weird because Atlanta pisses me off, right? Because I was like, "Ooh, we're looking good." They took 2 out of 3 from Philadelphia. I was like, "All right, this is good sign. We got 2 out of 3. We'll go on the road."
hmm
Toronto's not that great. Baltimore just, they barely, they split a series of Baltimore because they got rained out. But they're not all, Toronto's not like a juggernaut offense you got to worry about.
no, but
Besides
they
Vladimir
good. They good.
Guerrero,
That's
but
not
they're
true.
sneaky good. But
They
I
got
just I'm not
Springer.
impressed.
Come on, man. They have Springer. They
Nah,
have
he's
decent
trash.
pitching. Get out of here. Are you
Springer has been
crazy?
inconsistent, man. He's
Nah,
always
man.
striking out, flying out.
Nah, nah,
When
nah.
he gets into a good ball, yeah, that's great. But I don't know. That's
Nah.
my opinion.
They have a pretty decent team, bro. I saw them. I
Keyword
was there.
decent, good.
I
There's a
was
difference
there.
between good
Yo,
and
I
decent.
was there for the whole series.
Yeah,
Trust
if they were
me.
so decent, why did they get swept by the Mets? Because they
Come
trash.
on. Nah, it's not because of trust.
The
Because the
Mets
Mets
are
are,
no, the
of
pitching staff
course.
just shut him out, and Santander hasn't done much for them yet. And the crazy thing about them, they play in the indoor stadiums. They can't use the notion, oh, it's still cold. Yeah, it's can't cold. It's come on, man, you can't use that.
Anyway, you're such a hater. Listen.
I'm just a miserable fan because both
Yeah,
my teams have the same
right
issue,
away. It's both of you
and
have.
I
It's
can't
funny how
believe it.
you have two teams. Nobody's allowed to have two teams. I don't know
I
who you think
can.
you are, but you have
I,
two
I,
teams, weirdo. And listen,
that's right.
you have two
You gotta
teams,
support the
and
home
they
team.
both fucking suck. And that's my favorite part about this shit because you know what? It's just early in the season, and you have to try to figure it out. But you know what? I think that maybe the Orioles are trying to figure it out. I don't think the Yankees have what it takes to keep going. Let's see what happens. Maybe you
The
guys
Yankees
can
don't have
figure
a
it
good.
out.
The Yankees, okay, with the Yankees, after Max Fried, who else do they have to pitch? Luis Hill is gone. Cole is gone. Rendon, he's inconsistent, but he's been okay. He's a good number 2 pitcher at the moment. Stroman, he's up and
I
downs. He's
love it.
emotional butterfly. One minute he feels great, the next minute he's doing awful. Supposedly, I don't know if he got hurt recently, but he's inconsistent. I'm glad I know the Mets are glad they got rid of him. Oh my god,
Of
what a headache
course. Oh
he's
my
been. He's
God.
like the Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets, man.
Yes, perfect. That's
Oh
the
my
perfect. That's
gosh, it's
perfect.
just
Perfect.
terrible,
It's
man.
like, oh my
He's
God.
or he's like a Jimmy Butler. When you first get him on the team, he shuts his mouth. He plays well. He does great. Then when things don't go awry, Jimmy Butler starts crying like a baby. Ah! Same thing
And
with Stroman. When things don't like Stroman made a big deal in the offseason. Oh, I'm not good enough. They leave me off the roster, so I don't want to pitch for them. He should
yeah,
just kept his mouth shut, like the announcer for the Yankees, Michael Kay. He said he should have kept his mouth shut because there's a good chance maybe he'll have to start and be put in the rotation. Guess what happened? Cole's out. He's now slotted to be the third pitcher in the rotation. He
you
should just
see
kept his
that?
mouth shut,
Exactly.
you know? So now he's got to eat his crows. So what, you gonna hold up your pride because you're mad? Like, this is stupid, man. They're paying you to play, man. Shut up. Even if you don't play, you're getting paid. Like, be quiet. He's
Exactly.
a
I
freaking
mean,
moron.
listen, there's a
Drives me
reason
crazy.
why you're not playing. There's a reason why they don't want you there because you suck. All
But
right. This
now
is a
he's a,
fit.
he's a he's an insurance pitcher. Is what
Of
he
course
is.
he is. What? He came clutch, bro, because
He's
they were gonna
he's
get rid of
like
him.
he's like a rental car that you have while your car is getting repaired.
Yeah,
Until
no
that
doubt.
car gets
Of course.
repaired, you're stuck driving this car. Yeah, it might not be a great car. It doesn't drive well, but it does the job. It gets you to work. It gets you to where you got to go until you get your car back. That's what Stroman is. He's a rental.
1000%.
And what you're hoping for with the Yankees, if he does well, maybe you could trade him in the you could, if he does well, you can use him in middle relief in the postseason, or use him in the rotation because he's gonna be there all year. Cole's not coming back. It's
Yeah.
just Tommy John's one of those things you out for the whole year. It sucks.
Yeah.
So
Because you know who's not getting Tommy John though? We just
who?
finished talking about this team. It's funny because it turned into the San Diego Padres podcast. You know what I'm saying? Not because of anything. It's just because they're doing really well. And it's funny because the Mets have a problem with those guys, and it's gonna be fun watching those guys play. But let me tell everyone before, you think that this is a, San Diego podcast, even though I'm a diehard Met fan, and you have the guy with two teams, the Atlanta Braves and the
That's right.
Baltimore Orioles.
You just
They
a
both
hater
suck. Trash.
for
Anyway,
now.
no, they suck trash. They're trash, bro. Listen.
Hey,
Anyway,
the
so
Mets were
he gets a
trash in the
pick.
beginning of the year last year. And what happened? They made it to the
Uh,
NLCS, so you never know.
anyway, that's not true. We won't get
Anything
back.
is possible. It's not too late, man. It's not
It's
even a
not too
month.
late.
It's a month into the season, man. Come on, man.
I know, but it's a
It's not
lot.
even a
You
month,
got
bro.
yeah,
March
but you guys are
26th, April
yeah,
26th will
but
be a month.
but you don't want to be in the basement like that. Nobody wants to be in the. You don't want to be that.
You think the Mets wanted to be 10 games under 500 when they played? No, but they
No, of
did.
course
They
not.
worked out of it.
I know they
It
worked, but it's,
happens.
it's almost impossible though. Okay,
Well, it's just the mountain becomes more. It's gonna be a harder hill to climb. You're right,
that's
but
right.
impossible. Who knows? If we're 10 games under by mid May and we're like 8 games out of first place, then I'll say okay. And 5 games out of the wild card, I'll say all right. We might have we have a 20% chance to make the wild card, and that's just about it. Not even. So who knows?
Nah, I don't believe you.
I have a better hope for the Orioles than
I
I
don't
do the
believe you.
than
You know who
the
has a better
Braves,
shot at all that?
the
The
Padres.
Athletics, the Sacramento
Oh,
Athletics.
then
That's who has a better
they're a
shot.
scrappy team.
Listen, I
Severino
like
pitched
that
well
team.
against you guys the other day.
Listen, mind your business. Nobody's talking to
I'm
you.
just listen.
Anyway, listen. You pick the pitcher and the batter of
So
the
the
week, right? So we call.
gunslinger, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and guess who? Guess who's on that list right now? Go ahead,
So
tell.
the gunslinger is from San Diego, California. Or the pitcher gunslinger of the week is Nick Pivetta of the
That's
San
who?
Diego Padres
Oh, the
against the
Padres.
Colorado Rockies on April 11th. San Diego won 8-0. He pitched 7 innings, allowed 3 hits, 0 earned runs, and 10 strikeouts. He was dominant. Now,
All
granted, it's
right.
Colorado, but doesn't matter. Numbers are numbers.
No, but time out though. Time out. So you pick Mr. Pavetta, right? But don't you think that Mr. King story, he is a 6-0 shutout. Let's look at the numbers on that one. I'm not
I
fighting you.
missed that one, so tell me
I
about
don't.
King.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I just want to look it up. I'm just saying. So that means that another San Diego Padre pitcher in the rotation was so good that they're both co-pitchers of the week.
Yeah, it can happen.
Yeah, time out. No, we're gonna have to look this up now because I really want to know. So this game that we're talking about, this was last Sunday, right? Let's see who's faster. Because I'm kind of slow when it comes to this stuff.
I'm not looking at. I'm.
Oh, I know, because it's not your team. I know. Oh my God, look at it right here. Paul Skeens gets traded to the New York Mets
Yeah,
for Brett Beatty and McNeil.
it's not April Fool's Day anymore, right? You're
No,
like
no,
16
no,
days out of 15 days away past April Fool's.
no. What are you talking about?
Man, if the Pirates trade Skeens for Beatty, I'm telling you, man, that they should get rid of they should send the expansion team to Nashville and get rid of Pittsburgh if they would do something stupid like that. Take away the rights of the ownership because that would be the worst trade. I don't know, man. What would you have
Would
to
it
give
be?
up to get Skeens from the Mets? Seriously, for the Mets, what would you have to give up? Let's talk it out.
Wow. To get Skeens from the Mets.
You already know it's Luis Angel Cunha. That's one.
Obviously, that's definitely 1,000%.
Whoever your number one prospect in the, I think you have a pitcher that's in the number one prospect in the
Yeah.
minor league, right?
Okay, so before we go back to that question, right?
Go back to King.
9 innings, right? 2 hits, nothing earned, obviously. 8 Ks and 1 walk. Yeah, I think he's gonna be a gun slinger of the week. Cole, of course, because Mr. Pavetta had a great game too with the 10 Ks.
How many
7
hits did he
innings.
have?
How many what?
How many hits did King have? Allow?
None, bro. Was it?
Oh yeah. So
No. Was it none for you? Like, let me double check that. Am I bugging out? Nah, 2 hits, bro. It wasn't a no hitter. It was a 2-hitter.
either way, they're both similar. They literally have similar stats. One had more
Yeah.
strikeouts than the other, and
Yeah.
one had more hits than the other. That's all.
Yeah.
But either way, they're both great gunslingers of the week. That's the
Definitely.
nice thing about. That's the hard challenging thing about it because I was telling you like the other day when we were in the car, like how there was like one game the other day where there was at least four no hitters going on at the same time. I was like, what the heck is going on? Pitcher was
Yeah,
getting no hit by the Yankees. The Mets were throwing a no. I think it was the Mets throwing a no. Somebody was throwing. It's just crazy. I was like, oh my gosh,
it's a
this is
lot.
crazy, man. I was like, and then finally it didn't work out that way. Thank
Okay,
goodness.
so for Skeens, right? What would we
What
have to
would
give
you have
up?
to give up for the Mets?
Oh man, this is tough because I don't want to give up nothing too good. But
I
okay,
give
so
up Alonzo and
eh,
Beatty for
are,
Skeens because you
are
got
you
long term
crazy,
commitment.
bro?
Yes.
No, you're
Yep.
crazy,
Sign
bro.
it right on the
Listen,
back.
first of all, no
Bye,
worries about
Alonzo. Nice to
no.
meet you.
Let me explain something to you. Let me explain to you why the Alonso deal is not gonna work. Because Alonso's only under control for this year and next year. So the Pirates
Really,
are not
when
gonna
he could
take
fly well.
exactly. And plus, yeah, exactly. He has the option to walk after this year. So why would the Pirates take Alonso? That makes no sense. Now you're just a hater. You just want to say take your best player. Nope, that's not what's gonna happen. So let me explain to you what's gonna happen. If it would be a corner for sure, you're right about that. Beatty has to go. McNeil, but the Mets would have to eat up half of the contract for it to make sense for them, right? And then they could take oh man. After that they would want to pitch him most likely, right? So being that our pitching is, short term anyway, and it would have to be somebody young. And it would probably be Sproat, and I would give them Sproat and all that stuff I just mentioned. Give them half a
So I'm looking at the Mets prospects. Bear with me.
I'm listening.
I'm pulling up the top 30 prospects. So Sprout, you said
Yep.
Acuna Sprout. Is Sprout the he
The
played
pitcher.
last year, didn't he? He came up
No, no,
last
no,
year.
no. You're talking
Who was
about Christian Scott.
Christian? Whatever happened to him?
He
He's
got
back in the
hurt. He
minors,
had Tommy John, so he's out for
so
the
he's up for the year. Uh, Jeez, yeah. So you would have to give up. I don't know how good this Jet will. Yeah, you could give up Jet Williams because you gotta have Lindor for a while. So Sprout, Williams, Acuna, McNeil, and
Beatty.
yeah,
It's a Beatty.
Beatty.
Beatty has to go
Yeah,
too. So listen, if you do that right, you give them, but you have to send McNeil with
or you could
half
give
of the
up
money.
Ronnie Mauricio. I
No, no,
give
we're not giving
Mauricio.
that up. No, no,
I'm
no,
just saying you would
no, no,
have
no.
or Drew
But
Gilbert. He's
no,
great,
no, no, no. But listen,
and a
with
good
that
superstar.
package for them, it's perfect because this way they have a whole infield right there with McNeil. McNeil can play left. He could play second.
Infield.
Exactly. Acuna can play the whole infield, I believe. It's good. It's good. It works for them. Like they would get a lot from that. And we would get skins under control too. So, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot to give up, but I think it would be worth it. I don't know what you think, but I think it would be worth it for us, because he's young and we're building something young. We have Lindor, Soto, we have this thing going on. We have Vientos, we have Alvarez, who's really young. We have Nemo, who's like the veteran player now. It's like a different vibe, but I think we have a young club and we're putting pieces together, and that piece would help.
Wow, he'll be the ace of the rotation.
Yeah, you be.
Him, what? Him, Pearson, Manaya when he comes back. Who else? Who's
Oh,
Gil?
that would happen this season. Oh my God, yeah, we would have to
Not
Senga.
Gil. Tyler McGill. Excuse me. I don't know. I get
Yeah, Tyler McGill.
thinking of Louis. Yeah, Tyler McGill. McGill. It's like
Yeah,
wow. It'd be
yeah, Holmes,
that'd be a really good
rotation.
rotation. A surprisingly good sneaky rotation. They'd be like the Mets from a couple years ago when they had DeGrom, Harvey,
Yeah,
Syndergaard. It'd be that all over, but better.
but better. Yeah, with the
Well,
development. Yeah,
I don't know. DeGrom and Syndergaard were pretty good compared to Peterson and
McGill.
McGill. But
But
anyway, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. But and
But
don't forget you have a hit of the week that you haven't spoken about.
yeah, so the hitter of the week, this guy I pick, even though it was in a loss, he had a great game. It was
The Oscar.
for the LA Dodgers. Even though they lost, Teoscar Hernandez, the outfielder, he went 3 for 3, 2 home runs, a double, 5 RBIs, and 2 runs against the 8-7 loss against the Phillies. But I picked him because it's not too many players you get to hit multiple home runs in one game with all those RBIs. So it was a couple guys I could have chose, but he was the best one. But and he's Teoscar Hernandez. He's a guy who was on the Blue Jays. He was good for them. They let him walk, and he's been a great asset for them. He's a contributor. He's not the main superstar, but
No, but he's
he's a
great.
dangerous guy off the
Yes,
bench. You can
yes,
plug
yeah,
and play. Hey, you know what? Take this guy out.
yeah.
Let's put him in for the day. All right, cool. Conforto's doing good in LA. I know it makes you sick, but and he was in
Nah,
San
it doesn't
Francisco.
bother me. It doesn't bother me because you know what? We're past that. You know, we're a different team now, bro. And I think my right field is a little better than Conforto right now at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just,
no, definitely. I'll take
I'm
your
just
guy right
saying
now over Conforto any day of the week.
exactly. So that's what
So
that is. You know, but
that's
you
okay.
know, so I know nobody's listening. We probably have like two, three guys in Canada listening to this podcast right now, but it doesn't matter. You
Two
know, we do
two
this
truck loggers logging
exactly.
all these trucks.
Yeah, yeah, going from east to west and west to east, whatever. They're doing something on these trucks, 16 wheeling, listening to us and shit. But we
That
wanna
that TV show Ice
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 trucker,
Truckers.
yeah, some
And
shit
they're
like that,
going
right?
all right tight ass Ben with these big truck logs.
These guys
Hey,
are
listen,
listening to
these
this
two
shit.
idiots. We have to talk about why I take this turn.
Yeah, yeah. And but no, but we want to acknowledge that yesterday was Jackie Robinson Day in the MOB. Everybody wears
Yes,
the
the great
42.
Jackie Robinson.
And we want to let people know, for people that don't know, he was the first African American player to play, in modern baseball. And the crazy thing is that he played for that team, that's binary body, the Dodgers, but it was
The
different back then.
Brooklyn Dodgers, man. That's when they were in Brooklyn, man. Man, that movie 42 was great.
It was. I
Uh
remember seeing it.
it's sad that
Chad, right? They said
Chad
that
Bowman, I forgot his name. He passed
Bozo,
away,
Bozeman or something like that.
from
Yeah,
cancer. But that was such a great. But either way, Jackie Robinson was a great guy. I mean, he endured so much adversity and discrimination. Like that's like true discrimination. Everyone talks about racism today. No, that guy literally got hated. Like literally spat on. But Branch Rickey, he believed him and he gave him a chance, man. At first he didn't, but he believed him and he gave him a chance. And he, you know,
yeah.
it's just
Listen,
amazing story, man. And then I know, like you were saying, the Mets are, and the one thing I do love about City Field too is the entrance to that stadium is really amazing because when you walk in, the first thing you see in that rotunda is the number big 42,
that's right,
and it's just like I don't know how you cannot miss it. And that's one of the nice things that the Mets did when they did build that stadium, uh,
definitely. So we
contributing
have,
to.
he did a lot. So he was the rookie of the year in 47, right? National League MVP in 49, right? All-Star games, he was in 6 All-Star games, right? From 49 to 54. League championships and World Series. He led the Dodgers to 6 championships and 1 World Series title in 55. He had a career batting average of 311, which is ridiculous, right? He had 200 stolen bases in his career. Went to the Hall of Fame in 62. And he was the only player in MLB history to have his number retired by all teams. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Which is crazy, right? So we're falling into trivia right now, right?
I
So
know this answer.
okay, so who was the
Oh, for
last
the
player
Mets.
to wear
Oh,
the iconic number 42 for the Mets? Who was the
oh,
last
see,
player
I,
to
I,
phase
I
it
was,
out?
I was thinking who was the last player to wear that 42, and I was gonna say Mariano
On
Rivera,
Rivera,
but
yeah, no, for the Mets.
as far as the Mets, geez, oh, geez, man,
It's okay. Just take a wild guess.
all right,
Last
was
play.
it?
I'll give you the years. I'll give you the years. So this guy
I say the
played.
'60s, the '68 teams.
No, no, no. It's gonna be 2002 to 2003. So he played for the Mets for 1 season. So
One season.
yeah, and he was the last guy. But this is a big. This is a guy that everybody,
Mo Vaughn,
Yes, exactly. Wow, you got
dude. I swear, I guess because I was going through the list. I said it wasn't Piazza. It
No,
wasn't Beltran, and Mo Vaughn. He was like a one hit wonder. It wasn't Les Luis Castillo. It wasn't Reyes. Oh, I was gonna ask you a question on the Mets jersey. What's the number 7 decal for on their right patch? Do you know
seven.
what that's about?
Ed Kranepool, I think it is. He just
Oh,
passed
because he
away.
passed away. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send you a
it's
video. There's this funny Mets rant from years ago. There's this TV show I listen. I'll send it to you. It's funny. You'll like it. It's a sports show in New York, the Michael K show. And anyway, one of the co-hosts, he did a rant about the Mets forever player, and he went about Ed Kranepool. And I was sad I wanted to hear his passing because I always thought about that rant. You'll listen to it, you'll laugh. It's funny.
that's funny.
But the guy at the time, he was making a salient point, like who's the Mets forever? Who was the best forever Met for the player for the Mets at that time? And the best player he could think of was,
Ed
Ed
Kranepool.
Kranepool, and people wouldn't know who that is if he was in the airport. But yeah, Ed Kranepool was great. He was a part of that team that won in what 68, and this is the team that won that
But
magical year they
69.
had.
69.
Yeah, 69 Mets, man. He was great. Him, man, that I love that documentary on ESPN, Once Upon a Time in Queens. You've seen that documentary?
Yes,
That's such a great documentary. Strawberry, man, that was a great team, man.
I definitely
And
do.
it made me mad because as the Orioles, they beat the Orioles in was it 68, I think, to win the
Yeah,
World
no, no,
Series.
the World
Or
Series, it
69.
was against, it was 69. It was the Orioles versus the
Yeah, and
Orioles.
they beat the Orioles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, oh
Yeah,
man.
you know what's
But
funny? Davy Johnson played for that Baltimore Orioles team at
and he
that
was the
time.
manager of the Mets during that.
Yes, 86.
Oh, Weaver. Yep. Or
That's crazy,
Weaver was
right?
the played for the Orioles during that time. Man, those teams are tough, man. And what's crazy about those years in the Mets and during those times, it was such a big deal because that back then, they always, they had the drug issues in New York, just in general, and they're always saying, "Oh, Strawberry's a drug guy," but who cared? Because when he was out there, he performed. Even if he was out all night partying it up, he always came to play.
Yeah,
Doc and
yeah.
Strawberry.
How
I
crazy was that, right?
love, man, those guys are amazing.
Yeah.
What's his name? The announcer. What's his name for
Who?
the
Keith
Mets?
Hernandez? Keith
Yeah,
Hernandez?
Keith Hernandez. He was on that
Yeah.
team. Who else? Oh man. Oh, what's that guy's name? He was a pitcher too.
Which one?
Not Kranepool. He
Tom Seaver you talking about?
no, not Seaver. I forgot his name. He kind of became a nuisance. He's still alive, I think. Let me look, man. Uh, I'm gonna look it up right now. And as soon as I say, hold up, he became a nozzle. What was his name? No. The 1968 New York pitching staff included Don Cardwell, Bill Connor, Danny Frisell, Al Jackson, Carl Kuntz, Jerry Kuzman. No, that's not who it is. Maybe it was. Hold up. I'm looking up the 68 Mets roster. He wasn't a pitcher. He was a, either first baseman. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. Uh, let's see. Ed Kranepool, Ken Boswell, young player. Oh, I can't think of. I can't think of the guy's name. My goodness, why is it escaping me?
It's all right. It'll come back to you. But
Let's
this was
see.
definitely a
Kranepool.
really good episode. We had fun with this from while Asha continues to try to figure this out. We're gonna give him a little bit of theme music. You guys have a
Yeah, I
good
can't
night.
think of it.
But we'll be back. Trust me, we'll be back with
I'll
the
be
answer.
back next week.
Definitely will be back next week. You guys have a great night, and I hope you enjoyed it. And drive safely, because you already know who's listening to this one.
Anyway, see you guys. See you next week. Bye.
Peace.